Calling a day and calling it good or bad is merely a reflection of the mind's attachment to outcomes, when in truth, the day simply is, neither good nor bad, but part of the unfolding flow. Do you know this feeling? When life feels like it's on hold, like it's this thing separate from us, waiting somewhere in the distance, postponed, until some big transformation occurs? So I have a new fruit here, which I've never tasted before. Maybe somebody of you knows what that is. Always have to try something new. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's sour. Probably lots of vitamin C. So I'm very glad that I pulled myself together and got out to take this little stroll. Although it's like in the middle of the most beautiful forest here, botanical garden, we always have to keep in mind that we're in Germany and it's still so much traffic and so much, you can hear that, kind of aeroplanes flying around, but again, that's life for you, you know? Like chasing the perfect moment, the perfect surrounding, it's just an illusion. You know, and last year I was just happy if I maybe had like 1 hour in a day where I could just do something for myself. And I mean, I was often so exhausted in that time that I really just would sleep or watch some Netflix show or whatever, because I really just had to function and to be there for other people too. And that's just so important, and we learn so much from that, especially as caregivers or as parents, you know. But we also really have to remember to take care of ourselves. You know, I sometimes feel it's so worth it to make a little effort. For example, last weekend my good friend called, who moved to Portugal almost 2 years ago, and she asked me spontaneously if I would come with her to the Magic Flute by Mozart. I love Mozart, I love classical music, I love all music, but I also really love classical music. So, but I really had only 1 hour left, and I was like kind of really fighting with myself. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Because yeah, you know, it was like kind of stressful. So, well, I made a compromise, and I would just, you know, go to the second half. At least then I would get there less stressed, and I would be able to see at least half of an opera and meet my wonderful friend and go to dinner with her. So, which we did. We just watched the Magic Flute from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and it was so beautiful. And now we're sitting in a restaurant and sending you big hugs to from a city called Essen, which means food, which we're going to consume in just a second. I think it is in these seemingly insignificant moments, like laughter with friends, or a shared meal, a quiet conversation, in which the essence of life is truly found. And by honoring them, we transcend the notion that life is something to be achieved, realizing instead that it is something to be experienced moment by moment.
so köstlich.
And I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad that I made the decision that was the most self-loving one. Also, this weekend I met a beautiful young woman that I knew from YouTube. We're like from different generations, but we felt so connected because she was born and raised in Yemen, and I spent my first school year in Yemen, and it's just such a beautiful coincidence. YouTube brought us together, and I'm also so happy I made this room and this space to meet her and really to spend this beautiful autumnal day with her. And we went to also a botanical garden in Cologne. We also went inside the Kölner Dom. It was just the most lovely meeting I had.
Yeah, you should. Oh, there's a concert. Wow. Sweet. So yummy. So yummy. I'm going to head back home and need to tidy up my apartment, which really looks a mess. And that's kind of the thing that's kind of the thing that gets delayed and postponed right now, but so be it. So I heard that Mozart often composed outdoors, drawing inspiration from nature. And he enjoyed long walks in the countryside, and it's believed that these walks helped clear his mind and fuel his creative process. And I think nature teaches us to be present because it unfolds in its own time, free from the pressure of future goals or deadlines. And when we immerse ourselves in the natural world, we see life cycles, seasons changing, plants growing, rivers flowing, reminding us that everything has its moment. And in nature there is no rush, only the rhythm of now. This helps us to stop delaying our lives, showing us that fulfillment isn't found in a distant future, but in appreciating the beauty of the present moment as it is. There is a German tale called Hans Guck in die Luft. It's like about a boy who's always walking with his head like up high, like looking into the clouds,
like I'm looking into the sky right now. And again, those beautiful leaves you have to see. That, it's incredible. And it's like one of those cruel German tales. As you can imagine, this poor boy, he's always walking like me right now because his head is just in the clouds, it's in the stars. He's probably a poet or a creative or something like that. And it's so sad. And then he walks and walks and then he falls into the river and drowns and nobody ever sees him again. That's the story of Hans Guck in die Luft. He probably was just daydreaming. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little daydreaming, right? That's something different. I mean, you know, romanticizing your life a little bit, daydreaming, I think it's all very beautiful and just part of life. There was a time in my life when I was kind of really dissociated, only living in this limerence, in this fantasy of my future and my so-called life and how I wanted my future to be. And always, you know, thinking when I would just reach this or that outcome, then finally I would be happy and finally, you know, I would start to live fully.
I think we delay our lives because the unknown feels safer from a distance, and the dream of someday shields us from the pain and the fear of today. When we postpone living fully, whether out of fear, uncertainty, or the pursuit of ideal conditions, we create a gap between the life we imagine and the life we're actually living. And this disconnect can lead to a feeling of unrealness and dissociation, as though we're observers in our own existence, waiting for life to truly begin. And self-realization is about recognizing that there is no perfect time, no ideal version of yourself waiting to be unlocked in the future. The more we delay, the more elusive our sense of identity becomes, as if we're waiting for a version of ourselves to emerge that doesn't yet exist.
On the page it looked nothing. The beginning simple, almost comic. Just a pulse, bassoons, basset horns, like a rusty squeeze box. And then, suddenly, high above it, an oboe. A single note hanging there, unwavering, until a clarinet took it over, sweetened it into a phrase of such delight. This was no composition by a performing monkey. This was a music I'd never heard. Filled with such longing, such unfulfilled